being an addict, you're willing to fucking do anything at any cost. Yeah. Like I had no regard for anybody's feelings, or I just didn't care. I mean, you get to the point where you just don't want to be sick. It's just the worst feeling.
Hey, this is Matt Cox, and I am here with Matt Lalonde, and probably got that right. I might have got that right.
No,
okay.
You did.
All right. So, and he's got a super interesting story about, I'm going to say a gas credit card scam. He lives in Florida and came by, and I'm going to interview him, and it's going to be super cool. So also do me a favor, and if you like the video, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell to get notified of videos like this. Also, I have a Patreon. If you like the videos, like let's say you're some guy that's driving around on a lawnmower, or you work in a warehouse and you spend 3, 4, 5 hours a day maybe watching my stuff, you might want to go out of your way and say, hey, you know what? Like, I'm going to go ahead and throw this guy a bone. I'm going to join Matt's Patreon. Hey, it's only $10. Like that's at entry level, like $10. $10 a month. Like that's nothing. That's nothing. So, of course, then there's also 50. Like if you really liked me, it'd be 50. Yeah. And if you were like, hey, I want to get a painting every month, then that would be 125. And admittedly, it's excessive, but things are expensive. Regardless, you get a free painting, or not free because you're really kind of paying for it, but you get a painting of a different con man every single month. This month, I think I'm going to do Jordan Belfort. Anyway, I'm here with Matt. Check this out. So you sent me an email. We talked on the phone a little bit. Mm-hmm. Alaska, the credit card thing. Were you born in Alaska?
I was born and raised in North Pole, Alaska. Not the North Pole, but North Pole, Alaska. Born and raised there. I had
well, can I stop? One more. Can I stop? What was it? Were you in Alaska? Were you from Alaska?
Like we were both born and raised.
Neither one of you look like someone that I think. See, when I think Alaska,
Native.
I think Native Alaskans because I've seen all those programs like Life Below Zero and Alaska State Troopers and all those. And but I saw one where they were like, it was almost like a tribe or something. Like they were running their own. The whole town was run by basically like a tribe. And
it's not like that. I mean, we're probably like 30,000 people population. So North Pole, and then there's Fairbanks. So North Pole and Fairbanks are only like 10 miles away. So like if you live in North Pole, most of your jobs are in Fairbanks. You got to commute 15 minutes, but it's probably about 30,000 people population. There is a lot of natives.
Where was Twilight filmed?
Twilight?
Is that Alaska?
No.
Are they in Alaska?
That movie with Vanessa Hutchinson when she's the prostitute and
prostitute. That's not Twilight.
No, there was one shot in Nome.
Wow, that was way off.
It's a story about a guy that would kidnap prostitutes, bring them to a cabin in the middle of nowhere, and like hunt them.
Oh yeah,
and that's a true story?
That's a true one.
Do you hear that?
You need to get that, dude.
What, the hunting the prostitutes?
It's based off a true story that happened in Alaska.
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably. Do you hear that?
There's a car alarm going off.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, I'm sorry. Anyway, so yeah, okay. So we don't know where Twilight was. This has nothing to do with anything.
No,
anyway,
no,
sorry,
I don't think it has anything to do with Alaska. But I mean, I had a fairly normal childhood. There was some trauma, I mean, there's things that I went through. I felt like I never really kind of fit into the norm. I always felt kind of odd. I'd only had like one best friend. I felt like there was just, it's hard to explain. There was something different about me that I didn't fit in with most people. I got picked on and stuff, and just because I was quiet. And then, I mean, eventually it led to like before high school. So I started drinking like 13, 14 years old and tried weed. And
were your parents married? They were both together?
They're both together, and they're still together. Yeah.
And just like a normal, like middle class kind of.
Yeah.
But it wasn't working for you.
No, it wasn't. And so at the time, let's see, my dad has been in recovery for almost as long as I've been alive. So they were doing the best with what they had. They were growing as I was growing.
All right.
So they had to learn how to parent, and like the older I got, like the better that they did. Like they're the best parents now that I've ever had. Like they've done a great job, like at supporting me, especially everything that I've went through.
Do you have any brothers and sisters?
I do have a brother and a sister, but they're the same dad, different mom. So half brother and half sister. But they're my 40,
way older.
Yeah, my sister's 43 or 44, and then my brother's like 41.
43, 44. They're almost dead.
No shit. I mean, I'm 33. I mean, so I'm like,
I'm 53.
wow.
43 is ancient. My God.
Yeah. I just heard them over there, and she's like, and I'm only 22. I'm a decade older than her.
I hear you. Like them young. They're
They'll put
shapeable.
They'll put you in your place real quick. Yeah, they will. And then, I mean, so eventually, kind of led to like when I had my first drink or my first mind-altering substance.
How old were you?
I was like 13.
How does that happen?
I mean, my sister always had pills or had drugs. I mean, my best friend at the time, he had a bunch of weed all the time, and then his parents were kind of out of town or not really just present enough to notice that what we were doing. And I would drink beer, and then I'd smoke weed, and I had a little Yamaha blaster, and I would, after I got all hammered and shit, I would drive home and try to avoid my parents and not let them know that I was under any kind of influence. But what it did is it triggered something like inside of me that felt like I was like, this is how I'm supposed to feel. Like,
right.
Like just a total addict, like kind of personality. Like I'm an addict through and through. And like, no matter what it is that'll get me outside of my head to make me feel, not make me feel. That's the point, is there's too much going on all the time. And the instant that I had that substance, I was like, I can talk to people. Like I feel calm. I have like I can communicate properly, and I felt like people liked me. So I continued with that through my high school years. I would hide a bottle of SoCo behind my subwoofer in my truck, and before I'd go into class, I'd take a few shots and go into class, and I'd be like, I was cool. Like I felt good.
Yes, you're self-medicating.
Oh yeah,
it's anxiety. It's got to be. It sounds. I mean, not that I'm a psychiatrist or anything, but it sounds like it's super connected to anxiety for you.
It definitely is. Yeah, I'm totally uncomfortable with myself if I wasn't under any kind of substance.
Right.
There's just it's horrible, really, until you reach a point in your life where you're like, I need to do something about this. Like I need to change. But after going through high school and drinking while going to school and not getting in trouble or anything,
I was gonna say, it never caught up? Never caught up to you?
Nobody noticed. They just thought like Matt's in a good mood, like how I usually was, because I was always under a substance.
Right.
And then after high school, it was right after high school. I had a buddy that I would go to. So I went to school in Eielson, which is an Air Force base, because I went to North Pole High and I got too much in trouble, or just there's things going on, and I went to Eielson, so they sent me there. Plus, I had a girlfriend at Eielson that I wanted to go to Eielson so I could be with her.
Right.
And that lasted like 2 months. So I ended up finishing senior year at Eielson, and then I had friends that went to West Valley, and I would go see them, and then we were kind of into the same substances and same things, and then that's when the Oxycontin thing kind of arose.
Right.
And that was in 2009, 2010, and we figured out, like, you can smoke them. You can smoke on tinfoil, because these Oxycontin 80 milligrams, I mean, they're synthetic heroin.
Right.
Like, that's exactly what it is. And I never in my life thought of smoking a pill. What are you guys doing? And one of these particular persons ended up being one of my co-defendants in this thing. So me and him, I would go to his house and we would smoke Oxycontin off tinfoil. And then I did that like off and on for like, a few weeks, or then 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And then I stopped. I was back in North Pole at my parents' house, and I started feeling like shit. I was like, man, I must be getting the flu. Like I don't feel good. And then it dawned on me. I was like, wait a second. I'm withdrawing.
Yeah.
I'm going through withdrawals. Like, what do I do? Like, I need to go get more, or I'm gonna feel like shit. So I asked my parents. I'm like, just some phony fucking reason. Like, hey, I need $80 to go to fill up my tank and go do this and do this. And at that point in time, I don't think they had an idea. I mean, they didn't have an idea that I was up to something. And I went and got the Oxycontin, and then I smoked it, and I instantly feel better. So I was like, okay, this is it. I'm hooked. Like, right. I have to do this now in order to function.
And this is an 80 milligram?
Yeah.
So what you break it in half or
you
something?
Can't, yeah. You can hawk it. Right. So you bite it in half, and so then you put one side down.
The 80 is like the controlled release, right? Like
no, back then it was the original Oxycontin until they switched it over to the OPs.
Okay.
So the OPs, they had a plastic in there where you couldn't smoke it. You couldn't. The original ones, you could inject them, you could smoke them, you could snort them, anything. And where was I?
I'm sorry. You were saying you smoked it and you said, okay, I'm definitely hooked.
Yeah.
Like this is.
Yeah, this is it. Like I'm either going to have to support my habit in order so I don't feel sick, or just stop. And at that, I kind of had the realization like that I don't want to stop because it makes me feel better. It makes me feel normal. I have no anxiety. Do
you have a job at this time?
So I was working at a small engine repair shop, also where my co-defendant worked. So we're both, we're hooked on the shit, and then we'd come to work and like we're sharpening chains and be just like, oh, I feel like shit, and like look over at him like, you feel like shit too? He's like, yeah, we need to get something. And then we find a way to come up with money or whatever, and we'd go for our lunch breaks and find one, go get high, come back to work, and put all these engines apart or together and start sharpening chains, and got all our energy back and everything. And then he ended up leaving because he got a new job at a construction company, a fairly large construction company in Fairbanks. And I continued just doing my own thing and making money through the job that I had, but then also making up phony fucking lies to my parents why I need this money, and I need this money, I need this for this, I need this for this, or my insurance, or my gas, or like I want to take a girl out on a date. Like,
right. How old were you at this time?
I think 19 going on 20. And then it came to the point where like I said, my dad's in recovery, so my truck was acting up and we pulled it into the garage, and he was helping me work on it, and he goes, Matt, you know, I know you're up to something, and I just want to let you know that like whatever you're doing, you're going to only end up in 3 places. You're going to end up either in jail or an institution, or you're going to die. And then your friends, you're not the girlfriend that I had, you're going to lose your girlfriend, you're going to lose your truck, you're going to lose your job, you're going to lose everything. And then eventually you're going to lose the connection, or your family's not going to want to be around you anymore. And I didn't. It just went right on. I was
You're
like
19 years old.
I was like, what? Yeah.
You're a 19-year-old drug addict.
Yeah, you don't know. You've only been clean and sober for 15 years.
Right.
Well, at that time it would have been 19 years. And one ear out the other, and like told me straight up, like I knew where I was heading. And then about maybe a month into it, my co-defendant told me that he's getting ready to leave the state because he's got another job from this construction company that he's moving to, like a different state or whatever. And he has a gas card that he's been using to obviously fill up the fleet for the construction company, all the trucks, and then he's like, I've been using it for my personal vehicle, and then he's like, so I get free gas, and then I've been filling up, my brothers, I've been filling up this person, I've been doing this.
Yeah, because they have a ton of vehicles that have to be, so they're not going to notice a slight fluctuation of a few hundred here, a few hundred there.
No, because they have an entire fleet. And so he's getting ready to take off, and he's like, you can have this if you want. I was like, well, fuck yeah, I'll get free gas because then I can save money for my drugs. But he's like, you can make money off of it. And I was like, well, what do you mean? He's like, I charge people just blah, I don't know, I'll take $20 off, or just like for my friends. And I was like, just that idea, just the idea that he planted, like I just took off with it, totally took off with it. I ended up, so I would sit at any gas station. So in Alaska, there's Tesoros. That's what the gas stations are. And I would sit there, and I'd wait in my car, and I'd go up to anybody. I mean, usually it's like little old ladies or whoever. And I had like a sales pitch for this gas card. And so I'd go up to him and be like, oh, ma'am, I have a gas card from the state, and I have to use a specified amount of gallons. And if I don't, they're not going to reimburse me these gallons. I just totally made that up the first time that I went up to this lady and I asked. And I was like, I'll fill up your vehicle and I'll take $20 off. Like if it's $80, just give me $60 cash. And she's like, oh yeah, of course, because she thinks she's like helping me out.
Right.
And I mean, I didn't necessarily look like I was strung out on drugs or anything.
Right.
And and in Alaska, I mean, you know, and people are fucked up. Like it's not hard to miss.
Right.
And so I kept that little sales pitch, and I would go up like shit. I'd go from one person, like just right there, and then on the other side, I'd give them the same sales pitch, and they'd be like, "Yeah, for sure, yeah, oh, whatever, like however much it is, like I just take $20 off, or I'll do this, or just how much cash do you have right now? I'll fill it up. Just give me all your cash." And they're like, "Oh, all right, yeah, for sure." And then I'm still working full time, and then on my lunch breaks, I would go do this, and so. Just in the span of like at a lunch break and talking to 3 or 4 people with that little sales pitch, I'd make $600-700 on my lunch break in 30 minutes.
Right.
And then on the weekends, you know, that's pretty much where I spent most of my time. And then all this money in Alaska, OxyContin got up to one pill was $200 to $300. For one pill.
For an 80.
For an 80.
So
yes.
What is that a milligram? Like fucking that's like $10-15 a milligram?
Yes.
Okay.
So it was outrageously priced. And so even me making $800 a day, I could get maybe 2 or 3 pills.
Right. And
my tolerance is already going through the roof. So that's enough to keep me well.
Right.
And so I'd wake up and just I don't have any energy, I'm sick. So I'd like, then when you're sick and withdrawing, and I go up to these gas stations and like, I'm just like, I just need, you know, like I'm fumbling over my words and shit. And it still worked.
Yeah. You're giving people a reason to do it, even if they think, something's fucked up. But let's face it, if I get 15 gallons of gas, you know, they fills up my tank, like I don't have to give them the money until after. So yeah, sure, let's see what happens here, bro.
Right.
The card works, it fills it up, cool.
Yeah.
Like if the cop showed up, I'd be like, whoa, he told me this and that. I didn't know.
Yeah, they're totally unsuspected. They have no idea.
I mean, even if they had an idea, at least you gave them an excuse. No, you don't understand. This is what he said. Golly gee whiz. Are you saying the card was stolen, officer?
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
At least, because to me, I would immediately.
Well, yeah, of course, other people would be like, yeah, this seems pretty fucking fishy.
Yeah.
But the way that I said it, and then I mean, of course, like I said, probably the way that I looked probably helped a little bit better too.
Right.
And so it got to the point where I would have, like, I was a gas dealer, pretty much. I had taxis and semis. So
I was thinking I would have gone straight to a truck stop. Because those guys are spending $1,000.
Exactly. And that's what I ended up doing. And so I had taxis and semis that would call me probably, 4 or 5 times a week. Their semi is like $500-$600.
Wow.
And the semis, they have to pay for their own gas. And I was like, dude, I'll take $200 off of that, even if it's 7 or 8. And he's like, no doubt.
Right.
Here you go, man. And that went on for
you can be pretty generous when it's somebody else's money. I'm always when I've stolen a bunch of money from the bank, I'm pretty generous with their money too.
Yeah.
It's easy. It makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Makes you feel like, I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah, I'm doing you a great favor while committing a felony.
I'm a good person.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you a break. $200 off. No.
I'm feeling a little generous today.
Right. With my employer's money. Sorry. So, okay. So it's not even your employer.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I don't even know who this construction company is. And so then about, let's say, 40 to 45 days later of me doing this, I'm back in the shop at the small engine repair shop that I was working at. And my boss comes back and I'm like sharpening a chain. And he's like, Matt, there's a detective up front to see you. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I was like,
for me?
Yeah. And
no, go back and make sure he's got the right guy.
Yeah. So when I walk through and I see him, he's in a suit. And he's got his badge on his hip and everything. And he was very cordial. And he goes, hey, I'm here to see you about, he's like, And I was like,
you need some gas. That's what I think. I'll meet you down. I'll meet you at the Circle K.
Yeah, since you're a cop, I'll give you a 50% off.
$50, yeah. 50%.
And so he's like, I'm sure you know. And I tried to play stupid. I was like, no. What do you mean? What are you here for?
Golly, gee whiz, officer.
And then he's like, I figured you would say that. And then he goes like, grabs his briefcase, plop. It's like this thick, big manila folder.
This is at your work. Is your boss there? Or are you in like a back room?
No, I'm in the front counter.
And your boss is sitting there going, "Whoa, boy, you look like you're in trouble. I don't know what you've been up to."
They were hanging out behind, and I know that they were like they had to know.
Did you ever fill their tanks up?
No.
I was going to say, as soon as he said gas, they both turned around and bolt.
Yeah. No, they didn't know. They were unsuspecting. And so, like, the counter, the way it is, like, there's the front counter, and then you can go over to the side where it's like a little bit more personal. So we go over there, and that's when he plops it out and opens it up, and he's like, all right, so this is you, obviously. My face blown up in a picture. Flips it open. He's like, here is you getting out of your car, filling up this person. Here is you getting out of your car, inserting the card, filling up this person. Flips it. It's just over and over and over. And then on the other side, he's like, so you see all these transactions? There's over like 500 or 600 transactions that you have here, and every single one of those is a felony. And I was like, okay.
Say, first of all, officer, you've done amazing work here.
Yeah.
You've done a good job.
Yeah.
And he does look a lot like me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna help you find this guy. Nobody's more upset about this than me.
Yeah.
Identity theft.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, no shit.
See, you got to be faster, bro.
I know. I just took it. I was like, dude, yeah, you fucking got me. Like, there's no denying it. And so I was like, okay, so what is that? He's like, every time he swiped, it's a felony. So what do you mean? I have 500 felonies against me right now? And he's like, well, I mean, due to the sheer amount that you made within 45 days, which ended up being $21,000, he's like, I just want to let you know that the FBI is going to be picking this up because this is no longer a state investigation.
Oh, okay. I thought this guy was the FBI.
No,
he was a detective.
He was just a detective, and he was letting me know, like, we got you.
Pack your bags.
Yeah, we're still doing like our investigation and everything. I'm not here to arrest you, but I want to let you know that the FBI is going to be picking this up. And so I was like, what do you think? How much time do you think I'm looking at? Like, what? I was fucking just pale. I was a ghost. I keep fucking hitting this thing. God damn it.
Sorry.
And like, I was just, pale, sweating. And after that encounter, he's like, obviously
and you're fucked up on now I've got to go through detox.
Yeah.
I got to go to jail. I got to go through detox. I'm already fucked up right now.
But so he said, I'm not here to arrest you. So he's like, but obviously, I'm going to need that card.
Yeah.
I was like, here you go. Yeah. You can take that. And he's like, I'm not here to arrest you. We're still doing our investigation. And so you're going to have to go check in with a pretrial federal probation officer. So I have to go to the federal building. And so I go and meet my federal PO, and she's like, so you're on pretrial.
Okay, well, you went from, immediately went from this guy just asking you questions. He just told you go downtown. Like, you didn't. Did they give you a public defender or anything?
No, he said
said show up and sign in.
I think he gave me like a 72 hours or something to
train yourself in.
To check in with the pretrial, because he said that the investigation's still going and we're not going to arrest you yet. Like,
they're like so nice. Like, I need to go to Alaska. Like, they came in, they're like nice to you. Like, they're like,
they were.
You got 72 hours. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry what you're going through, buddy. You made some bad decisions. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
I've never talked to that guy. Never.
Looking back on it, it was probably the easiest way to ever get in trouble.
Yeah.
And so I go and see my federal PO, and then so we start pretrial, and obviously I'm still doing drugs, and I'm doing at the time probably.
Did you have to piss?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah. So she's like, I'm gonna give you UAs, and I failed the first time, of course. Surprise, surprise.
What does that stand for now? And you failed. Well, if you failed, like, did they? Well, they can't revoke your probation. You don't have probation.
On pretrial.
You just signed it. You didn't. You just okay.
Yeah.
Because like if you were on probation, then you are on pretrial. If you're on pretrial, then they could lock you up for that, right? Can't they lock you up? No, they won't really lock you up anyway. You haven't been charged. You haven't been
sentenced.
You haven't been sentenced to anything. I don't know. Yeah, you're okay.
So
then why even give you a piss test?
I don't know. They were trying to clean me up before I went in or something. I don't know. They were trying to give me some rehabilitation in some way.
Right.
But
they're gonna get you healthy before they knock your head off.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's nice. It's nice. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah. So I fail it, and she's like, "Well, obviously you have opiates in your system. So you gotta." Next week, I'm going to try to get you to go to like an inpatient program or do something, because like if you keep doing this, we will put you in. We're going to take you in, so you're no longer on pretrial while you're under investigation.
Can I ask you a question? What did your parents say? Like, have you told you go straight home and say, Dad?
Oh yeah.
Oh okay.
Yeah. So I told them, I laid it all out because they knew I was up to something.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I was up to something, and they knew. Like, I'm sitting at dinner and doing the nodding out or watching TV, and
I'm so sleepy. I'm working so hard.
Yeah. I've been working 12-hour days, fucking all this gas and stuff, and man, people wearing me out, wanting gas all the time, and so I tell them, I was like, yeah, so cop came and pretty much caught me, and. My dad, he was like, yeah, well, I figured you were up to something. So, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I don't know. What do I do? He's like, well, you can try to get clean. You need to do something before to try to show the judge that you're trying to change and try to make a difference, and that you're, they feel some remorse for what you've done for charging this company, over $20,000 in 40 days. Like, you put
which probably ended up having to pay at the most $50. That once they called the gas company and said
this is all
the credit card company, this is a fraudulent charge, someone's been caught, then they write that off immediately, and the most they can charge them under the Electronic Transfer Act is like $50, and they don't even charge them that. So they have to reimburse them within like 24 hours. So you didn't really cost them anything. They did have to make some phone calls, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
which was agonizing, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Yeah, and then so after that was
Your dad. So your dad was saying sorry.
Yeah, he knew I was up to something, and my mom is she's very sensitive, and she was crying, and I know that like I broke her heart, but my dad, he's not hard to read. He's just a very what's the word? What is it? Yeah, he's mellow, very mellow. I've never seen him angry at all. But shit, I forgot where I was.
So he was your mom was upset, and your dad was kind of like, "Look, you got to get clean. You got to get your shit straight. Try and show the judge that you're changing."
Yeah, and then so I go through. I mean, I'm trying to stop, and I'm getting sick. I don't have resource. There's no resources in Fairbanks. We have one rehab. That's it. Like if I came to Florida, there's rehabs everywhere. I mean, Jesus Christ. But there's only one in Fairbanks, and there was limited bed space. Can't get in there for months. So like they expect you to like, I have to keep up my habit for 2 months until I can get in there. Is that what you're saying? Like
I like that. I like it. That's the drug dealer mentality. So what you're saying is I have to keep my habit. I have to keep this going for 2 months.
Yeah, until you can.
And you definitely don't want to go to prison. I mean, you don't want to get pulled into the holding cell and detox in the holding cell.
But inevitably, that's what happened, because I could no longer afford Oxy in Fairbanks at the time, because then they were becoming so rare that they stopped making them, and they started making the OPs, and I can't smoke those. I want the instant high. I want to smoke them, and so heroin comes along, way cheaper. You can get it for $40-$50 for a point, 0.1, or you can get like a half a gram for $100, and it's way stronger. Or I mean, sometimes depending on where you got it. And it was like the black tar kind, and so I started to switch to that because it was cheaper, and the small engine shop still kept me employed, thankfully. Nice. I still worked there. And then towards the end of, so I got to talk to the public defender, federal public defender, and she wasn't very nice. she just kind of laid it out on me, and told me about the point system and everything, and she's like, they'll take your childhood, your petty theft, a DUI, like I had a theft for under $4, like that's a point. And then I had criminal history. They'll keep
every single they'll keep little bumping thing. They'll bump up your criminal history.
Yeah.
Every single time you've ever been in trouble. So you could have been arrested once for a DUI. You could have been arrested 2 years later for shoplifting.
Mm-hmm.
And now when you get to sentencing, you're at a criminal history level of 3.
Right.
So it's like, so you're already instead of having like being at like a level 6, you're at like a level 13, and at a level 8, you're going to prison.
Right.
So you're already done.
Yep.
No matter what.
Uh-huh. So and then after meeting her,
I was just clarifying that so that people understand.
Yeah.
So even though all those charges are ridiculously stupid charges, it doesn't matter. Every one of those is going to count for more and more months in prison.
Speeding tickets, even.
Right.
Yeah. Any kind of it's ridiculous. But so she tells me about that, and tells me I think it was around 16 points or something. And at the time I was on state probation, so I had a SIS, suspended imposition of sentence, that was called, I believe, for a forgery that I did. And so as long as I didn't get in trouble for 2 years.
What was the forgery for?
It was like for $300 or something. I mean, I was withdrawing. I just found a check and $300, and I went to the bank that it was, and they're like, "Oh yeah, hold on just a sec. Yeah, hold on. Oh, one more second." And,
waiting for the sheriff.
Yeah.
Waiting for the deputies.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, they're here. They're here.
That's exactly what happened. They're like, oh, wait, one more minute. And I'm sitting in the drive-thru. And then cops come around on both sides. And then, I mean, I was like that. I was... Being an addict, you're willing to fucking do anything at any cost. Yeah. Like I had no regard for anybody's feelings, or I just didn't care. Like
and your risk versus reward is vastly skewed because you're willing to risk anything to get to stay high because you're in such pain.
Yeah, I mean, you get to the point where you just don't want to be sick. That's just, it's just the worst feeling.
It's funny too how especially the opiate guys always describe it as being just like being sick.
It's like the worst.
It's like their bones ache. Like it's a different compared to like other people that I've talked to that go through withdrawals. Like they always describe it as being like violently like ill. Your whole body's aching. Yes. Your bones hurt. Like, I've always heard that. Like, bro, like literally your bones ache.
You like alligator roll all night, and like there was a point where I had a cell that was right across from the shower. So like I'd be freezing, kind of hot flashes and bones hurting. So I'd run into the shower, and I'd sit in there for 15 seconds. And then run across to my cell and get under the blanket so I could just finally sleep for maybe 30 seconds because you can't sleep either. But that's another.
The forgery. So the forgery, you did the forgery. You're on state probation for that already.
Mm-hmm.
And you're on federal probation and you're trying to get into a drug rehab.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but it never happened.
No, well, you keep failing the UAs.
Yeah. And so
they're really very unfair to criminals.
Yeah. And so it just leads up to, I think it was another 6, maybe not even that long, 4 or 5 months later, they get up to like the pretrial, and then the some court dates, like there's a court date before your sentencing. It's like the
you accept acceptance of your plea.
Yeah.
You go and you say, yeah, I'm guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty plea, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so the guilty plea is actually when they arrested me on the spot, but I had a few court dates before that, just like
These like an arraignment, like you were processed. They took your fingerprints. They took a picture of you. Yeah, right. That whole thing. So you were being arraigned. They let you out immediately on a OR bond. Like you didn't put up any money, right? They just
Okay. No. Yeah, I was never incarcerated until the date of my sentencing. Yeah. And so on that day, I have right here 2/21/11 when I was sentenced. And I go in there, and my co-defendant, he's already been sentenced. He's never had anything on his record, so he gets probation because I mean obviously through when I was talking to the investigator, he's like, I just want to know when you came into possession of this card. And I was like, whenever you see it spike, like whenever you see it being swiped every day, that's me.
Right.
So like they calculated the differences and everything, and
they know it's his card.
Yeah.
He took a plea.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And he just got probation.
Yeah.
That was it. And so come to mind, I had written out like a little letter just to kind of level with him, be like, I'm not a fucking awful person. Like I'm not evil. I'm not trying to do this to try to just fuck everybody over. Like I have a problem. I'm an addict. Like I have issues.
This is to who?
I'm saying this to the courtroom. I'm saying this to the judge. And I was just letting them know like I feel remorse for what I did. It's awful. It's stupid. I mean it's just a very immature way of trying to deal with my addiction. And I said, I mean, if it wasn't for the case of me being addicted to drugs, this wouldn't be happening, obviously. And he actually kind of leveled with me, and he's like, I have a daughter that's caught up in that stuff right now. And I feel for you, kid. I honestly feel like you need a rehabilitation more than you need a prison sentence. But due to the sheer amount of money that you made within the 45 days or whatever, like you got to be sentenced to something.
Right. What were they already recommending? What was probation recommending?
16 to 18 months.
16 to 18 months?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Jeez. Okay. For
Yeah.
fucking 21 grand?
Yeah. It was because of all my little priors, my little points.
I don't know why I'm looking at Connor. He's not going to help. He doesn't understand. But he looked at me like, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that's outrageous. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I know people have sold a couple $100,000 and ended up with probation.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was because,
it's all of your criminal history level.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what led up to me having to have that much. And what he said is like, I have to sentence you to something, obviously. So I'm going to give you 3 months. I was like, 3 months. Okay. I've never done any time at the time. Like I've done 3 days maybe for driving without a license, because at that time, driving without a license was a jailable offense. And I think I had a DUI or something, and never done any time before. So he sentenced me. I was doing heroin up to that day. I smoked heroin before I went and got sentenced. And he told me that, and then both my parents there, my mom was crying, and like I kind of broke down. I was like, all right, here I go. And then they handcuffed me and they put me in the little federal holding cell.
Kind of broke down, bro. I cried like a small child.
Dude, yeah.
Like I was unconsolable.
Yeah.
I got a considerable amount of more time than you, but it doesn't matter if it's a month.
No.
It's devastating.
Yeah, because you're getting taken away from everything.
Yeah.
Especially for your first time ever. Like you get taken away.
You have to go through detox? Or
Yes.
you have to go through withdrawals?
I have to go withdrawals.
Good times.
Yeah. So then from there, they send me to FCC, Fairbanks Correctional Center.
Question: when they locked you up right there in the courtroom, and they lead you away, the marshal leads you away, right? Mm-hmm. They lead you down the hallway,
and then they put me in a little gate,
right?
And they leave me there until they're ready to transport.
Right.
Which the federal building to FCC is 3 miles away, but I'm in there for like 4 hours. And just with me in my head and my thoughts, and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this. I'm so fucking stupid. I'm never going to do this again. Like this fucking, I need to change my life around. I need to do something. And finally, after 3 or 4 hours of me in there, bawling my eyes out and fucking beating myself up and saying how much I like slandered my last name, hurt my parents and all this. Everything goes through your head.
Yeah.
Just the most awful fucking things you can think of. And they come and get me, and they handcuff me and go to FCC. And then like by that night, I'm already tossing and turning. And FCC, like there's a lot of people in there that are going through the same shit. There's a lot of people that are going through withdrawals. So like,
it's a major problem in Alaska, right? Isn't it?
At that time,
okay.
It was the OxyContin epidemic was huge. It was really big. Yeah, back in 2010, 2011, that was the main thing. There was a lot of people doing it, and so I get to FCC, and I know quite a few people in there because it's just a small town. And they're like, here, this will help. Take some candy, and like whatever, anything that'll help. And he's like, make sure you go take a shower, go do this, and like everybody knows that I'm going through withdrawals, so they're like, just leave them alone and let them sleep it off, because there's probably there's A wing, B wing, and C wing, and A wing is the higher higher security, and then B wing is like the low level, and then C wing is the workers, and B wing is just like it's disgusting. Like it's like the kind where you just look down and there's like mold and dripping water onto like the cement, and all the paint's scratched off, and it's not very clean.
Right.
And so yeah, I'm kicking for 7 7 to 10 days before I start coming out of it and coming out of my cell and eat and kind of socialize and talking to a few guys that I know outside of there, but that they're in as well. And then like I start to understand some of because I've never done time. I know that there's certain politics, certain things you should do. Like in jail, it's not there's no politics in FCC really,
right,
at all.
Yeah, there's too mixed up. There's not enough guys to get together to be dangerous.
It's whites and natives.
Yeah,
that's it. So after 20, 30 days, like I'm playing spades, playing spades with these guys, and I'm eating, hanging out. I'm like, this ain't too bad. I can do this. I can do this for what? I've been here for 28 days. I can do this for 70 more. This is easy. Maybe they won't even take me to federal pen or federal FCI. And then on day 30, they go over the intercom. Lalonde, roll it up. And I was like, and everybody's like, oh shit, federale, here we go. And yeah, I knew. So I rolled it up. I mean, all I have is my blankets and I have my paperwork. So you throw your sheets and your blankets in the bin, and so they walk me up to booking. So it's no longer just the correctional officers. I walk over and then there's the FBI. So they got I always know they're FBI because they got their tan pants and their blah, blah.
You mean the U.S. Marshals?
Yes. Yeah, the
Okay.
U.S. Marshals.
I was going to say.
Yeah. And so I think there was maybe 2 or 3. I think there's 3 total, including me, that were all federal and we were getting transported. And it's at that time, January, December, February. So it's about February. So it's fucking cold.
It's Alaska.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was cold the whole time. I thought it was cold. I didn't know it was a warm spot.
There is for about 3 or 4 months. And
nice.
Yeah. Other than that, it's cold. So they chain gang us and put us in the van, and then we fly up to this little private airway, and they put us in the little bush plane, and just the little 2 propellers, and so fly us.
Marshals with you the whole time?
Yeah, 2 marshals. They were super chill, comparatively speaking to the marshals that I encountered later. So then I fly to Anchorage. And I go to the Anchorage jail, and at the time I'm like, where am I going? Like, are they just am I going to Anchorage? Am I gonna stay here? Like, they don't tell you anything. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. So, and then they put me in some podunk cell. They put me in a little tub, like, because there's no bed space anymore. There's 2 bunks, and then they put you in a tub, pretty much, with a mat.
A boat. They call them a boat. It's an orange, right? Was it orange?
It was gray.
It was gray.
Yeah.
So looks like almost like a. What do you
It's like a shallow fucking canoe or something.
Yeah, like a really shitty low boat that.
Yeah.
Like a I'm trying to think, not a canoe, like a kind of like a kayak, kind of like a kayak canoe kind of thing. Yeah.
And then you stick your mat in there, and then I got some guy up front on the top that's fucking, of course, annoyingly snores every damn night, and then I got the guy on the bottom bunk that's going through withdrawals himself. So I'm on the floor, and this guy is in full-fledged withdrawal, shitting himself and puking, and I'm just like, dude, I need to get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm seeing that in perspective. Like, he was like, got to be 50 years old, and he's still going through what I just went through when I was 20 years old. And then it like kind of put it in perspective. I was like, dude, I'm not going to be 50 years old and going through this shit anymore.
Right.
No way. I do not want to be that dude. And I was in there for two or 3 days. And
you were locked in the cell the whole time?
21 hour lockdown. So we were just out for breakfast, lunch, dinner. That's it. And in there for 3 days, and then they bang on the door. Lalonde, roll it up. I was like, thank fucking God. I don't care where I go anymore. I don't want to be in here. And I always try asking him, like, where am I going? Like, I can't tell you that. And from there, there was probably about 10 or 15 federal inmates that were in Anchorage. And I think on this one, so they do the hip restraints to your handcuffs, your hips, and then your feet, and then they attached you to 2 other people, and then put you on the bus. And then from the bus, then we go to another private airport or something, and put us on the plane. And my public defender said that with the amount of time that you have, as far as you're going to go is Seattle, SeaTac. Like there's no other reason why you'd go anywhere else, because you're low level. Like that's as far as you should go. So after I'm on the plane heading to Seattle,
right? And
I'm like, okay,
there's no federal. You told me earlier there's no federal prison in Alaska.
No, there's none. So I know that's where I'm going. I'm like, okay, so I can kind of relax. This is my last destination, and so I get in there and walk in, and it was a whole different kind of feeling, because it's not a jail, it's prison. Jail and prisons are like, I didn't realize
vastly different.
Yeah. So I walk in, and this like a big 2-tier. Were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say something. This was with a plane.
Mm-hmm. No, this is. I'll tell you that.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
So I walk in, and it's a whole different feel, because all the whites approached me. Everybody's like, "Hey, do you need anything? Do you need any food? Do you need it? I mean, socks? Do you need any
shower slides?
Yeah. Do you need a toothbrush?
I got some soups for you. Do you need Keefy coffee?
Exactly.
What do you need, bro? I got a lock for your locker. Give me that back when you go to commissary. Yeah, the whole thing.
Yep. And like this, it was so. I've never experienced something like that. It was like I just felt like they were like, "Hey, we're here. Like, if you need us,
it's a support,
let me know."
Support group, definitely.
And then, but then I noticed like the other guys that I came with, their race went up to them and did the same thing. I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." I mean, and so I go to my cell, and I'm kind of situating myself, and I'm in there with he was just Mexican. I don't know if he was a North Side or South Side or anything, but he was really super chill. I think he was younger than I was. And we have lockers in there, and he's got like cans and cans of like Sprite and Pepsi and all this stuff. He's like, "You can have some if you want some." And I was like, I don't want to accept anything from anybody. That's just
you've been told.
Yeah.
You've been told don't accept anything.
Yeah.
Because then they want something. They want something back from you, Connor.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
It is. Yeah, remember that time?
You know, remember that?
You're gonna help me out.
Now I need you to meet me in the shower. So, whoa, bro! It was a fucking 7-Up, man. It was a fucking can of soda. What are you?
That does not add up.
That's crazy interest. I don't care. That's crazy interest. Yeah. That's what I used to say. The difference between being in the medium when I was in a medium. At Coleman, I was at the medium for like 3 years. Difference between being in the medium prison and being in the low was in the medium, if some guy left a Snickers on your pillow, don't eat it.
Oh, fuck no.
But if they leave it at the medium, you can eat it. Because that dude comes to you and says, "Hey, man, what you got my..." Man, fuck you.
Yeah.
Hey, I ate your fucking Snickers. I might be in your fucking locker later. What room are you in? Yeah, because they're not going to do anything in the medium. They're pretty much set. They're okay. But, yeah. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead. But you don't want to take that Pepsi.
Yeah.
No. I know. I've heard about you, predator.
Yeah. I know what you're trying to do. Set me up, motherfucker. And then so first night I'm at SeaTac and just getting comfortable. I'm like, finally, this is where I'm going to be, laying down. I'm starting to fall asleep, and on my door, "Lalonde, roll it up." I was like, "You got to be fucking shitting me." Like, no, you got the wrong person. Like, are you sure?
I just got here.
That's what I said. I just got here. He's like, no. He's like, looked at his paperwork. He said, "Lalonde." I was like, "Yes, that's my last name." He said, "Yeah, roll it up." I was like, "Okay." I mean, so I don't have anything because I just got here. And so they put me, do the whole fucking wrist restraints, put it to your hips, put it around your ankles, blah, blah, blah. Lead us all out to this shittiest fucking plane I've ever seen. Like, I swear there was duct tape holding this thing together.
Yeah, they're not. It's not Delta.
No.
It's not even like what is Spirit? It's not even Spirit. Like,
no, and it's just a plain gray. Just there's nothing on it.
Yeah, and the stewardesses are fucking horrible.
No,
they've got shotguns.
Yeah,
they yell at you the whole time.
Yeah, they're
they
not
won't
nice.
let you go to the bathroom.
Nope.
I don't give a fuck if that light's off or not. You're not going. You just piss yourself.
Yeah,
because you're probably sitting in a seat.
Yeah,
that's been pissed in multiple times.
Probably.
So.
Yeah, it's good stuff. They were, I mean, fairly nice. So we all get situated, get on the plane, and we're all sitting there, and then the pilot goes, "Oh, I think we're having a problem with one of our engines, so we're gonna have to, everybody's gonna have to get off. We're gonna have to try to do this again another time."
That's what you want to hear.
Yeah. Especially when you're all restrained and getting ready to fly to another state.
Could you imagine if something happened? Did you ever see that one plane? I hate to say this, but do you remember that one plane that I don't know what it was, a DC whatever? It actually, like, the top of the plane blew off, and they lost one of the stewardesses flew out. Like, if you were chained together with like 5 other guys and one guy goes out, like, you're all going out like anal beats. Like, you're like, I mean, you're gonna be like, even one of you could hold on, the other guys are gonna be flapping around hitting the fucking hitting the fuselage on the outside.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a pretty strong guy. You'd probably be all right.
I try my best.
So, anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. So, the plane's not good.
What imagination you have.
Sorry. So, the captain said, listen, there's something leaking out of one of the engines. We don't feel good about this.
Yeah.
So,
anyways, so we're all getting off and then head back to the prison. Anal beads.
That's what I always thought of when they would chain me to the guy in front of me. I was always like, we're like a bunch, and we're all in orange.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you'd have like the paper dresses that they put you in.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, there's like 12 orange guys in orange chained together, and I would always, for some reason, I always thought, anal beads.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd once seen some anal beads. I knew someone, and they were and so I saw and they were orange.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Don't judge me.
I'm not. I mean,
okay.
Got that covered. We go back in and into the pod, and everybody's like, "Oh shit, everybody's back!" Blah blah, making fun of us. Like, and then that night, one of the white guys, he approached me. He's like, "Hey, we're making a spread for all the white guys." Like, I've never had any like real food since being in. It was always just like what they gave us, and so like in the federal institution, you can order a lot of shit. You can order, I mean, pretty much anything, food wise or drink wise, and he made us like this big plate of nachos with like sliced up sausage and put jalapenos and cheese and what was it?
The little chubs.
Chubs. The little chubs. And then the squeezed cheese and all the squeezed cheese and all that. And he had it for all the white guys. And that night I was like, man, this is fucking awesome. Like, this was pretty cool. Like, and then that night again, so this is my second night, bang, bang on my door again, Lalonde, roll it up.
4 a.m.
Yeah. I was like, okay, yeah, well, I know this time where I'm potentially going. And we all get on there, get situated. There's another problem. Yeah, we're all gonna have to get
on the
off.
plane. You got on the plane again?
Mm-hmm. Like, you'd figure that they would check the fucking plane before you get on the prisoners on there. But yeah, it goes to show where our government money is going. We all fucking get off the plane again, and now the pod's like really laughing at us. They're all hollering and shit and making fun of us. And I was like, yeah, we're back. Here we go. Like, yeah. Can we get some more nachos? Then third night, of course, same thing, repeat. Like, I was expecting it. I wasn't even trying to sleep. I was sitting like this, like on my bunk, waiting for him. And Lalonde, roll it up. Same thing. We all get on the plane, and then pilot doesn't say anything, so we start rolling back. I'm like, oh fucking, here we go. Finally going somewhere. I'm gonna die. Take off. Everything seems pretty kosher, and then they give you 2-day-old sandwiches and a little box of juice with your hip restraints, and
yeah, they want you to eat them with like this, like
you have to scoot up the chains hard just enough so you can reach down. It's comical watching.
If you drop something, it's just gone.
It's comical watching like the hardest dudes, like tattoos everywhere, buff, and like they're just struggling to try to eat their little sandwich. It's just, I saw a few guys are like, fuck that, I'm not even gonna try. And then we land. I don't know where we landed until I got off the plane, because I was like, I'm in Vegas. I can see the Chris Angel fucking pyramid. I can see the Strip. I was like, this is cool. I'm getting all my vacation spots checked off on this, because later I found out that they're moving me because of limited bed space, whatever the fuck that means. But that's why they were moving me around. And so they put you on a bus again. And we're driving through. I drive through the Strip like I'm on a bus, just like, oh, this is fucking cool. I'm looking at everything. I've never been to Vegas, and
you still really haven't been to Vegas. Being in the prison transport on the way to prison, driving down the Strip. It's not really being to Vegas. Yeah, but
I mean, I was in the location of, so I mean, I didn't get to experience, of course, real Vegas. And then we drive past it, and we start going through like this desert, like where there's absolutely nothing. And we pull into it looked like an army base, because you can't see the fence. Like, it's all the ground is above the fence and everything. So you have to go around through where the gates are until you actually can see the prison. And then it was a privately owned federal institution called, it was just Pahrump FCI, and never heard of the place. I guess it's a holding or a transport like facility, I guess. I have no idea why they sent me there, but that's where I ended up.
Who owned that facility? Was it like CCA? Or?
I have no idea.
Because there's a bunch of private companies that like, there's CCA, is it Global, and they build private prisons, and they house federal and state inmates.
I was obviously brand new, because I mean, everything was brand new, and they put us all in the little pod, little holding cell, and they're doing their little classifications and stuff. And finally get out of my cuffs, and I think I'm wearing so in SeaTac they give you brown. You're wearing your brown, and I'm wearing my shower shoes. That's all I got. And there it's the yellow jumpsuit. So you got to go through. You got to change out from my SeaTac clothes. You got to go through your whole inspection and do. I'm sure you know. Yeah. That's real fun.
Yeah. The bend over, squat, and cough.
Yeah. Lift up your sack. Let me see what you got in there.
Yeah.
That's fun. And then they give you your yellow jumpsuits, and then I turned the corner, and it was just huge. Like, I couldn't see the end of it. It was just one big long hall, and they assigned me to a pod. So. And I walk in, and it's literally, you don't have a cell. There's no cell. It was like probably a
open bay.
Yeah, it was like probably like a 60 by 60. Yeah, just with lines of beds, and then one big TV up here. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tables. So there's all your beds and all the little shitters with the divider that's probably this high, so you can look to the guy next to you taking a shit and say hi.
Yeah. Or masturbating.
Yeah,
he's masturbating. Sometimes they'll bring in some lotion.
Yeah. You make sure you keep your blinders on, whatever you're doing. You don't want to look over ever.
Or sometimes maybe you do. Maybe you say, Tom, what are you looking at there? Come on, stop it, Cox. You know what I'm doing. What are you doing? What's all that noise? You eat macaroni?
Yeah.
What's going on, bro?
Worry about your damn self. And
can I read that later? Is that the one with what's her name in it?
Yeah.
God damn it, Cox.
So I go into this one, and I'm not approached like by the white guys this time. Like, this is just a big fucking dorm, and so I find out this is where I'm at and where my bed is, and I'm in fucking Nevada. I'm like, what am I? I'm like thinking, I'm like, how much time do I have left? Like I've been, this is
I was
okay.
going to say,
Yeah.
half your sentence has been to transport.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like I'm at this point, I was like, I think I have probably 50 days left. Like,
shouldn't you be putting me in for a halfway house?
no, yeah. And so I find my bunk, and then eventually to like talk to, so, I mean, he was white because obviously he was a skinhead, had a bunch of tattoos and blah, blah. And this place was super politicky. Like he let me know, this is where I learned where there's the norteños and the sureños. He's like, okay, so you can associate with the Southsiders, and you can tell that they're Southsiders because they have a shaved head. The Northsiders don't, but some of them do. I was like, how the hell?
Is there a manual?
Yeah. I was like, how do you expect me to? I was like, how about I just don't associate with any of them? Then I'll be okay. And then he's like, and there's this one guy. He's mixed. He has a white mom and a black dad, so he's mixed. So he runs with us. So I just want to let you know that like that's what we're doing around here, because the pod, I think there's 10, 11 white dudes. The rest of them were Northsiders, Southsiders, or blacks. And
Well, how many people are in the unit total?
probably 40 or 50, I want to say.
This is 41st. That's 10. If 10 of them are, that's like 25% white guys.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
What's so funny is in prison, like having this conversation, like you can't have this conversation in the real world, because
No.
in the real world, like it's funny, you go to prison and like the black guys can be right next to you. You say, listen, let me tell you about the black guy. Don't talk to, I fucking see. And they're right there. You're like, you just get off the street. You're like, bro, there's a black guy right there. Like, what are you saying, bro?
Yeah.
And then, and it's like such an issue in prison. And then you get out
And you still have
it's
that
the,
mentality.
Well, it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
But it's the exact, it's, and it was so funny, people out here, like, they're like, racism and prejudice. They're like, this is not racism.
no, you have no idea.
No idea what racism
No
is.
idea. But so he gives me that little bit of the lowdown, and then one morning we get it's like waffles or pancakes and little apple slices for breakfast, and they give you like a little spoonful of peanut butter. And the white / black guy, the mixed guy that ran with us, he was allergic to peanut butter, or to get a nut allergy or something. And he's like, here, you want mine? I can't have it. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take it, and put it on my waffle or my pancake. Ate it. And then like a couple hours later, that white dude that first talked to me about the politics and everything in there, he goes, so I saw you took some peanut butter from what's his name earlier. You know that I should beat your ass for that.
How big is this guy, by the way? Because basically, did you tell him you're like a tourist? Like I'm on vacation. This is a couple of months for me, bro. This isn't my fucking life.
He knew that I was like, this is my first time, obviously.
Well, and it's your short time, right? You let him know, like I'm on in a week.
I'm on my way out. I've been on my way out since I got in.
Right.
And that's what he was like. That's what he said. He was like, so, but since I know you're new here and I know that you don't got much time, that I'm going to let this one slide. I was like, oh, thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, thanks for that. Like, I mean, he wasn't at the time. I mean, in 2010, 2011, I mean, I was a lot smaller. I mean, he wasn't.
I was going to say, you're a pretty big guy. Like I was thinking, like, how big is this guy?
Yeah, I mean, at that time, he was a lot bigger than me.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I think after the withdrawals and everything, I started eating, I was maybe 140, 150 pounds.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And, I
can't imagine you at $140. Like,
yeah, I was strung out.
you're probably, what, 170 now, 180?
No, I'm pushing almost 200.
Oh, fuck.
I think last I was like 193.
Yeah. Well, it would have been a different conversation.
Yeah.
At 200 than it was at 140.
Yeah, if he said that, I would have fucking lifted him up by his neck and threw him away.
I'm much more polite to people that are 200 pounds.
Yeah. No shit. And then, so yeah, that happened. And I was like, okay, well, all right. Thank you. I understand, sir. And then I was there. I was at Pahrump for maybe a week or two, and they had you could go outside whenever you wanted, but it was just like a fenced-in area. So there was the pod, and then you could just walk out to maybe a 15 by 15, obviously gated. You could just go out there and chill. There wasn't enough to play handball or anything. It was just to go outside. And me being from Alaska, like I didn't get that much sun, so I'd just go and sit like kind of in the corner and just sit there and soak up the sun. And all the guys like, oh, hey, look at Alaska. I'm like, yeah, leave me alone. I'm just fucking soaking up sun. I don't have anything else to do. I'm out of here. Like what? And then about a week later, over the PA again, Lalonde, roll it up. I was like, where the fuck else could I possibly going now? Like I'm pushing under 40 days now. Like I've been to 2. Well, if you count the
3.
from FCC to Anchorage, from Anchorage to SeaTac to Pahrump, I mean I've been to 4 different places already. And I roll it up. I'm like, okay, where the fuck am I gonna go now? And then I think this time, let's see, I was in Vegas. So we took a bus this time. They didn't fly me. We took a bus all the way from Pahrump, Nevada, and then I ended up arriving to Sheridan, Oregon, FCI, and that's where I did the remainder of my time. And in FCI or in Sheridan, it was 3-man cells. And you have to go there first. You have to go into the classification pod. And at that time, I think I had 35 days left or something. So they couldn't classify me to put me into where I was supposed to go.
Right.
Because most guys stay in classification in that pod for a week. And in that classification pod, you're on 21-hour lockdown. Same thing. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And 3-man cells. And first couple nights, they were pulling people out and be like, okay, you're going here, and then you're going here, and then I'd get a cell to myself and be like, oh, this is nice, and then until more came in. And then so in Sheridan, they give you, of course, when you get there, I'm in another yellow jumpsuit, but they also give you a jacket with a hood, because in that particular pod or that federal detention center, it was just cold in there, and I mean they give you jackets, and because you can go outside too, and it has a hood on there. And there was one morning they pop the doors, and it's breakfast time, and I have my jacket on. Everybody's wearing their jackets, and a lot of them put their hood on and that doesn't fucking matter. But I'm sitting in line, like shuffling, waiting to get my breakfast. And I'm shuffling, and then I hear a CO say, hey, take off your fucking hood. And I was like, I know there's plenty of other people wearing their hood. So I didn't pay any attention to it and kept going. Hey, did you fucking hear me? Take off your goddamn hood. And I kind of looked back, and I was like, I know he's not fucking talking to me that way.
Yeah, he is.
I know, and that, he was, and I was like, I'm not gonna, I don't care. I'm at the point I was like, you can't talk to me that way. I just, no matter who you are, that's just how I felt. It got me. I was like, just you motherfucker. And so he came up and grabbed me on the shoulder, and I said, did you hear me? He said, take off your fucking hood. And I said, I don't give a fuck who you are. You're not going to talk to me that way. Just say, hey, can you take off your hood? Like, why do you give us a jacket with a hood if you don't want us to wear the fucking hood? And he said, do you know who was asking you to do that, to take off your hood? You know who was asking you to do that? That's the warden. And I was like, okay. What does that mean? He's like, well, you're disrespecting the warden, and the warden told you to take off the hood, and that's insubordination. And I was like, I shut the fuck, like, I don't care. As the warden he was like a 5'2" little Mexican dude, and he's yelling at me to take off my hood. He's like, all right, well, take him to the hole. So I get sent to the hole for wearing my hood on a jacket that they give you for no fucking reason. So I get sent to the hole, and the hole that's a whole different place. There's people fucking screaming.
It's loud.
It's very loud. And then I learned that, after being in there, like, for the first day, you only get to shower 3 times a week when you're in the hole, and they bring it to you. They bring the shower to you while you're in the hole.
Okay. And, I've heard of those. Every institution's different, but yeah. And so it's on like wheels, right? Like they wheel it to you.
Yeah. And you only get 3 showers a week. Obviously you're in the hole. You're not allowed to do anything. And I went in there with some dude that I was by myself for the first couple of days. Then they moved me again. And then I get into this cell that's withdrawing from coffee.
Withdrawing from coffee, from caffeine.
Yeah, because he's he said he would drink those little instant packs that you get, little blue ones. I think he said he was going through like 3 of those a day. And he's just laying in bed with migraines and shitting himself all the time on the toilet, and like it was it was horrible during that. But when he was sleeping, like I had time to. It was actually kind of peaceful in a weird way, and being so secluded. It's weird what your mind can adapt to so easily. Like,
you understand? I've done your entire sentence in the shoe.
Yeah, really.
13 years.
I did 45 days one time. I know guys that done 6 months.
Oh
year,
yeah, yeah. But it's insane that what your mind can just makes it okay.
Yeah. No, you can adapt to pretty much anything.
Yeah, and I felt comfort and solace in being alone all the time.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, this is nice. And then I started writing. I started doing like just writing my life story and like what I've been through, and like I started having like idea maybe I should make an autobiography or something, or
write a memoir.
Yeah. Because to me, it's a big story. To other people, it's small, but like to me, I went through a lot of shit, and after I was only in the hole for a week. I got back to the classification one, and there was this older dude that I talked to him here and there, and like I liked to listen to the radio, of course. And he's like, I got an extra radio if you want to use it, because I know you're only going to be here for he's like 2 more weeks. He's like, you can keep it. And I ended up having a cell to myself for the remaining 3 weeks, I think, that I had there. And they started the breakfast, lunch, and dinner hour, and then between those 3 hours, they would let you out for a half hour. So I was on 20-hour lockdown instead of 21. And I was just walking around on the tier, and then I had this I think he might have been a North Sider, I'm not sure, but he had like a big tattoo of like the Georgia Bulldog or whatever he had on his chest, and he was
animal lover.
Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah, and he loved to talk. And then, I like to listen. So we just walk around, he'd bullshit, and we'd talk, and then blah, blah, blah. And then the old dude, he was doing my laundry for me. Like, he was just, because he was a worker in that facility, so he was allowed to be out the whole time.
Yeah, a lot of guys will do that just to be able to be out of the cell. Like, your time goes so much faster if you're working than if you're just laying in your fucking bunk the whole time.
Yeah. And I, of course, I hated reading before I went in. And then I ended up reading, a bunch of books while I was in there. and then I would listen to the radio, and I had this, the window was probably about this big, probably about 3 feet tall, and I'd just sit out there and listen to my music, and you can see who's coming in for where I was. You could see all the new arrivals and everything, and then towards the I think it was my second to the last day, the guy that I was walking around with, that I would talk to all the time with the big tattoo. I mean, he was pretty big, scary looking dude, but he was funny. Like he's like, "Hey, you got a new cellie?" And I was like, "Oh fuck!" I was like, "Come on!" I almost had it. I almost had my cell to myself the rest of the time. And I walk in there, and it's this pudgy little just white dude, never been in trouble in his life. He got caught for embezzlement because he worked at a bank, and he got like 48 months or something. First time, never seen jail. He was petrified. He was so fucking scared. I walked in there. He was like, "Hey, is it okay if I put my stuff here?" Because it's a 3-man cell. There's 2 bunks right here, and then there's a single bed. And of course, I want the bottom bunk. I was like, "You can sleep on that one. I don't care. You can take the top. I don't give a shit."
I would have had a blast with that guy.
So I'd have
been like, "So have they raped you yet?"
So the dude that I was walking around with, he's like, "You want me to fuck with him?" And I was like, "Dude, oh yeah, okay, let's see, let's go ahead." So he walks in there, opens the door. He's like, "Hey man, you owe me my fucking money. You got my fucking money. I know you fucking stole my money." And he's like backing up and fall. He's like, "No, I swear I didn't do it." And he's like, "I'm just fucking with you, man." And then I grabbed that dude. I was like, "All right, that's enough. He's gonna fucking shit himself." And I was like, "So this is I'm getting out tomorrow. I'm gonna give you all the the rules and regulations of what you should and shouldn't do." And he's like all night till like 12, 1. He's like, "Well, what do I do this? Or who do I talk to? Or where can I sit?" Or like, I was like, "Just keep to your own, man. Like, just, you don't want to get in a car. You don't want to fucking do any of that shit. Like, you don't want to get involved. I can tell by the way you look and what you're doing. I don't think you're
the soft as God."
Yeah. And
it's not hard like me, baby. See? Not running that fucking place.
Right, like you ran the last one?
Oh man. So, and then that morning, they're getting ready for release. So I think it was like 8 o'clock. And it was like a female CO, and she was like, she's like, "Oh, Matthew, are you ready to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, let's get the hell out of here." And they give me and
You're damn right I'm ready to go, boo.
Say no more.
Yeah. Sorry.
And so they give you, I didn't have any clothes, so of course you get your gray sweatpants, your white tee, and your fake Chucks. And I think I got $120 that they gave me.
They gave you $120?
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
They got to fly me back to Alaska from Oregon.
What? Huh? But you said they gave you money, though.
Yeah. It was their not farewell, but it's like
was anybody
it's gate money.
I don't get gate money. I didn't get any gate money. I was locked up 13 years. I didn't get gate money.
Oh,
I got a good life to you, bro.
That sucks for you then.
My God. Was anybody putting money on your books when you were locked up? Like, were your parents putting money on your books, or?
No, not so much. I mean, they did sometimes, but my mom, of course, wanted to talk to me, and I couldn't, because she would break down every time. She's just, "I just want you to do better. I hope you can make it." And my dad just,
he's fine.
Yeah, just fucking let the kid do his time. He'll get out and figure it out. And then so I get out, I'm walking out, and I can hear everybody banging on the windows, and because they can see me walking out. And I go to the van, and he's wearing like prisoner or oranges, and I was like, you're my driver? He's like, yeah, because it's a camp. Yeah. So like I had no idea that they would let a prisoner drive me 30 miles away to the airport.
They put Jess on a bus and let her drive her or go to the other, like they gave her a fucking voucher, her and a bunch of girls. They got to go hang out for a couple of days and showed up at the prison when they wanted to. Not really. I mean, they had time today to be there. But they hung out. They went on a bus. Where'd you stop? Atlanta,
Tennessee. We stopped in Nashville.
No, they caught a show? No, I'm just joking about the show, but still.
Went to a couple bars.
It's ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah, I did not have any idea that they would have.
You fuckers had a different experience than I had. There was no gate money for me.
Yeah.
Nobody gave me a bus ticket. I would have loved to ride the bus.
You got fucked.
Jesus.
And then before I went in, I was a smoker, so I was like, he's like, "Oh, do you want me to stop anywhere?" I was like, "Yes, let's go get some fucking cigarettes." And I bought a pack of cigarettes, bought a lighter, took one drag, and fucking coughed my ass off. And I was like, okay, well,
I'm over that.
Yeah, I don't fucking want to smoke cigarettes if I'm not fucked up on opiates, so that's gone. And then I get to the airport, and they had like a Nike shop in there, and I was wearing my white tee, and they gave me the money, and I was like, I want to get a black Nike sweatshirt so I don't look like I just fucking got out of prison. And then I got some Burger King, and then got on my flight.
Fucking Burger King.
Yeah. And I got on my flight, and they told me, of course, you need to report to your federal probation officer within 24, 48 hours or something. And I report, and as soon as I get there, my federal PO that she was assigned to, when she saw me, because she saw my federal, my inmate card, and like I had my head shaved, and she's like, I was really worried about you in there because your picture looks really bad. Like you look like you were having a very hard time. I was like, I mean, I was, but I mean, not really. She's like, so are you doing okay? I was like, yeah.
What the fuck is going on? Who'd they give you for a PO? My PO fucking was constantly going to throw me back in fucking prison. She needed my guts.
They were probably the nicest POs that I've ever dealt with. You could just go to Alaska, you guys.
Oh my God.
And then, I report to her. And she says, well, of course, you need to get a job and you do this, blah, blah, blah. Check in once a month. And I had 5 years. 5 years of federal probation. Did not fuck up once. Did absolutely, like, the last year, she's like, or last almost 2 years, she's like, you can check in every 4 months, I think. She's like, you can check in every 4 months, and you don't even have to come in. Just call and check in. Because I was passing all my piss tests. I was working. I was doing everything right.
Passed all my piss tests. I had to take a year worth of criminal behavior modification classes with a psychiatrist once a week for an hour. And while I was twice a month being piss tested, I don't even have a drug charge.
Jeez. God, man.
I'm still on federal probation. It's been 3 years. I just got denied. I tried to get off early. You know, they said no. They're holding a grudge. It's resentment, is what it is. They're irritated. They're up. I'm 6 million, but it's they're holding it against me. But anyway,
I could see why.
You had a vastly different experience. But so,
well, okay.
You got a PO that's like giving you like hugs and say you're okay.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. There was only 2 of them, and they were both female. So it was like, it was. It was
blonde hair, blue eyes. Didn't that probably went a long way with them, I'm sure.
Yeah, it did. She was pretty attractive too. Anyway, hope she doesn't see this. So I did that. I finished it without a hiccup, and that was 5 years. And then I lasted about 1 year off being probation. So at that time,
you lasted 1 year.
So
what does that mean?
Hold on. I lasted 1 year after being off probation without fucking up again. So
fucking up mean like
I relapsed.
relapsing. Okay.
Yep. So I relapsed, and during those 5 years, I was working at a very, very good business. I had a truck, a car, a place. Like I had two vehicles of my own place, and I was doing very, very well for myself. Like I felt like I was like I did it. I told myself when I was walking out of Sheridan, like I'm never gonna touch that shit ever again because it ruined my fucking life. Like I have this stain on my record now, and it's going to haunt me forever. And I was like, I'm going to do everything within my power to try to turn my life around. And I did it for 5 years, and I thought I had it licked. I thought like, I did it. Like right. I came out. And that's the funny thing about addicts is like, I mean, one change of thought, like, and you're done. And so at that time, like I said, I think it was like 6 years. I had my own place, and I woke up one morning, and I had my closeted mirrors, and next to my bed, and I swung my legs over, and I just have this distinct memory of like I looked at myself, and I just said, I'm not happy. Like I have everything that I could possibly want materially, but I don't have. I feel unfulfilled. There's a hole somewhere, and I just said fuck it. Literally, I said fuck it, and I was like, I'm on a mission to go find whatever I can find, and get high because I'm not happy. I want to feel happy. There's something missing, and that within that day, of course, I found heroin, and within the first week, I found the needle, and then I started becoming an intravenous heroin user, and then within the second week, I figured out I can mix meth and heroin in the same syringe, and then put that in my vein. Holy fucking shit! That was that's the best feeling I've ever had. And within probably, I would say, a month and a half to 2 months of me shooting meth and heroin into every vein that I had in my body, I had no money again. My car went to shit. My truck went to shit. It came to the point where I was having to steal shit, and then
no gas card.
No more gas card, so I had to figure out some other way. So I would go to like empty like construction sites and steal all their tools, and then pawn them off and or trade them for heroin or meth or whatever. And there was a construction site where we took a bunch of stuff, and then there was this it was like a heater that, like, when it's under construction in Alaska, they have these big huge heaters that you can put it under the under a tarp, and it'll heat the entire place. And we didn't have a place to put it, and it was me and two other people, and I put it on the top of his truck with no straps, no nothing, and I just went down we went down the street, and hopefully it didn't roll off. And we put all the tools and everything inside my house, and I brought a bunch of stuff to one of my dealers. I got like 3 or 4 grams of heroin and a couple grams of meth for just these tools.
The guy's running a pawn shop.
Pretty much. Yeah. And then some of them I took to the pawn shop as well, under my name. Like I just didn't give a shit anymore. Like I don't, like, I'm gonna get caught eventually, so fuck it. Like, let's just do it. Let's get it over with. That was my mindset. Like, and within, like I said, after about 2 months, I had 3 or 4 cops banging on my door with a warrant, and I opened it like I was like halfway out of it. I woke up on my couch like with, I think, like a needle still stuck in my fucking arm, and opened the door, and they like grabbed my arm, took me out, and put him in the car, and started searching my house and found all the tools and all this other shit, and booked me back into FCC, and then they charged me with the mix 4, which is like in possession of drugs, a burglary 2, and then a theft 2. So I ended up pleading out to the theft 2, and so that'd be my second felony. I was looking at.
Is this state though?
This is state now, yeah. And I think that she told me I was looking at 3 years. I was like, I made $21,000 and I went to the feds and they gave me 3 months, and I took $3,000 worth of construction stuff, and I'm looking at potentially 3 years. And so what they did is they did 2 years, 1 suspended, and then 4 years probation. So the state prison in Alaska is Goose Creek, and that's state and federal prisons. I mean, they're vastly different.
Yeah,
vastly. And then so in Alaska, you don't have a bunch of Mexicans or anything running around. It's a lot of whites, blacks, and natives, and that's it. And in Goose Creek, you're allowed to wear whatever you want as long as you have one article of yellow clothing. Like if you can wear your jeans, you can wear the shoes that you came with, you can order your shoes off East Bay or whatever. You can get all kinds of shit.
You just need a yellow t-shirt.
Yep. Or you just put on a yellow hat. Anything. But then I mean, if you get nice shoes, you're gonna get jumped for your shoes. Like I seen guys getting fucking jumped for their shoes all the time. It's ridiculous.
I won't wear nice shoes then.
No, and I didn't.
And not for long.
And no. And so while I was in that prison, so it's like one long stretch right here, and then this is in the middle, that's the yard. And then right here is like A, B, C, D, E, F pods. And come like breakfast time, when they announce it, you have to go from your pod across the yard at 6 o'clock in the morning at 30 below, and you have to sprint to go get your breakfast. Like it's horrible.
How much time did you get though? 3 years?
They did 2 years,
2
years, 1 suspended. So, and then with good time, you do 8 months.
Okay, I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I was there for 8 months, and then still, I mean, that 8 months that's not that long. You get into your routine. You start going to the gym. They had a track, and then I had a couple friends that I hung out with. I mean, it was all the time that I did. It was easy. I mean, I learned in state, like, okay, so in Goose Creek, you have a card for your door. Like, it's only your card that opens your door.
So you have your own cell.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have one cellie, but both of you only have the lock or the card that unlocks your door.
Right. Like a hotel room.
Pretty much. And then you learn, because you have a glass window that's probably about 5 by 5 that you can see into your cell. And I learned very quickly, you don't want to look into people's cells because you don't want to see shit that you don't want to see.
Right.
And I learned that real quick. And then, so I ended up getting a cellie that had a TV, and that he worked all the time.
And had a TV?
Yeah, he had a TV.
In prison?
Yes. Dude, I'm telling you, you guys need to go to Alaska. What the hell?
Wow.
Yeah, he had a...
Blue jeans, tennis shoes, and TVs.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Okay. But it's cold.
It's cold, yeah.
I'm not good with the cold.
No. I mean, either, but I'm not good with the heat
either, bro.
No.
It's just as miserable with here.
No, I was trying to change my tire, and I was dripping in sweat. And then Hannah, she was like, "You need to stop. Like, I'll take over from here because it looks like you're about to die.
Jess works outside all day. I don't know what she's thinking.
No, the first job that I took here was landscaping.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
And I got heat stroke twice the first week I was here.
I don't like walking from the front door to my car.
Dude, if you walk outside in Alaska and it's 40 below and you walk out, your face just freezes. It just
40 below. I can't even imagine.
It takes your breath away, and your face.
40 away. What 40 below is? I've never experienced anything like that.
I don't recommend it. I wouldn't do it. But you walk out and you're your face freezes, and then if you're out there for too long, your lips will start to it's so weird because your lips will get stuck, and then it gets harder to talk, and it's not fun. But then comparatively to walking out here and now, I'm instantly sweating.
Yeah,
it sucks. Anyways,
state
prison.
Your key.
He worked a lot. I think he was in the kitchen, so he'd go for 2 hours at breakfast, 2 hours at lunch, 2 hours at dinner. And so I'd sit there and I'd watch Ridiculousness. I'd sit there and watch the reruns of Ridiculousness every single day. And then I would go, they had a gym. They didn't have any free weights, so it was all cables and pull-up bars and dip bars and...
There's no fucking Nautilus equipment in federal prison. There's no free weights. There's nothing. None of that stuff.
No.
There's no. But I mean, in federal prison, there's no equipment.
No.
You guys, because we had free weights and machines.
You were at camp.
Yeah, at camps. At camps because I saw the entire layout of the gym when I was coming into Sheridan on the bus, and I saw it. There was free weights, a bench, everything.
So unfair. You're burglarizing places. She's running a fucking meth ring. I filled out some paperwork. I was in there with guys. I was in there with serial killers and shit. I used to have lunch with the guy that killed 11 people.
Yeah, but I'm sure he was a really nice guy.
He was. Well, he was nice to me.
Yeah,
he was old now. He's pretty much feeble and not able to kill me. But I'm sure he would have. There were times he wanted to kill me. I saw it in his face.
Yeah, you could tell.
So yeah. Anyway, sorry.
I met a lot of really nice murderers.
No. Well, they have a low recidivism rate too. One of the lowest, they almost get out, almost never do it again.
Yeah,
I mean almost.
It sometimes depends on but like I said, watch TV, go to the gym. I would at the last month, I would say that I was there. They pulled me over to the booking side, and they had me sign paperwork. They were going to send me to a halfway house in Anchorage, and I go to the halfway house in Anchorage, and I end up getting on the utility maintenance crew. So the maintenance crew has the top level of the halfway house, which is the penthouse suite, because it has a big screen TV, it has a couch, and then you have 3 different rooms, and you get your own room. And the guy...
I had 9 guys in the house. I was the only white guy with 8 black guys. I was the only white guy in the halfway house, in my room. There were 9 people in a room.
I bet that was uncomfortable.
It was uncomfortable. I used to listen. And the cops, when they would come around to count, they would be like, "Cox, you okay? You okay?" I'd be like, we need some diversity in here. You know what I'm saying? And but there was never any diversity.
It's kind of dark in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then so I go to the halfway house, and then I realize that they have a lot of Suboxone in there, and
you've got a problem,
dude. Yeah, you think? And
my God.
And so then I found a guy that had meth, and they have Suboxone. And I have 2 or 3 weeks left at this halfway house, and they call me down for a UA.
Those fuckers.
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
Yeah.
Don't they know?
God. I have a problem? I accepted the fact that I was going to be just this career like criminal, just a repeat offender. That's what I accepted my life as being. Like, I'm just, I have no worth anymore. I have no oomph, no desire to. I feel like I fucked everything up.
How old were you?
During state.
When in the halfway house?
When I was in the halfway house, I was. So this was in 2016, 17, 18. So I was 27.
Oh yeah, 27. It's too late to turn your life around at 27. You might as well just kill yourself.
Yeah.
What is going on? Anyway, Jesus. I mean, try starting over at 50. I spit on that thing.
Yeah, you almost got me.
Jesus.
It just, you get a feeling of being just so defeated. It just.
Oh my God. Okay, go ahead.
Shut up.
You're 27.
Yeah.
He's like 27, 5'10", blonde hair, blue eyes, good looking. I mean, oh my God. My life is over.
Obviously, I have some confidence problems.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you.
And
Life's over.
I know.
Man, fuck all you guys.
Listen,
That's how I feel.
I understand.
Yeah, that's how it's.
He's never done a drug in his life.
No,
so he doesn't understand.
yeah. Either has she. So it's hard for people that aren't addicts to understand. Like, there's
Listen,
one.
I have things I deal with. I mean, I do. Like, it's hard to look like this. It's hard. Like, life's not easy. You look like this. Like, people constantly, women call you all the time. It's, people want to just give you money. People just, I mean, it's hard to look away from mirrors. I have issues.
Yeah.
I have an addiction. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Go ahead. I hear you.
There was one story that, so
this is not how you thought this was going to go.
But I love this. It's funny. This is fun. There was she asked me. She was like, so why didn't you like when you would get your drugs? Why didn't you just wait till you get home?
She is the girlfriend.
That I'm telling this to.
Yeah. Okay. Well, because these guys don't know that there's a girl. There's a girlfriend over here that looks like she just got off a boat from Norway.
Yeah.
Blonde hair, blue eyed, fair skin, very pretty, tall, tatted. Whole thing.
She's Viking.
Viking, yeah, straight Nordic.
Yeah. So she asked me that. She's like, "Why don't you just wait until you get home till you did your drugs?" And like to somebody that's not an addict, like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
but to an addict, you like, once you get your drugs, you fucking want it now. I'm gonna pull over and I'm gonna put it in my fucking jugular vein. Like, that's just how I was wired. That's how I am.
No, but that's how all of them are like that.
Yeah. And it's
like they're like pick up the drugs at the drug dealer's house and can't make it the 4 miles to get home.
No, fuck no. I'm doing it right there. Then it's okay. Anyways, that was
conversation. That was it.
Yeah.
So halfway house failed the UA.
Failed the UA, and I was like, so when am I gonna go back? And she's like, honestly, I don't know. Probably another week before we can get you processed. And I was like, oh, that's cool, because by then I'll have 2 days left.
Yeah.
So
that'll be the plane flight there.
Yeah.
And back.
Yeah. So it was literally like 6 days later. They're like, okay, yeah, you need to go back since you failed your UA. So I go to Anchorage.
Are you serious? For 2 days? Stupid.
I go to Anchorage jail for 2 days. And so I thought that I was going to get like I thought they were going to give me, what's it called? Just like a write-up, like where they could take away your good time.
Right.
They could. I managed to. They were going to give me a write-up for failing the UA while I was at the UA or at the halfway house.
But they suspended didn't you said they suspended a year or something like that?
It was 2 years. Yeah, 2 years, one suspended.
So can't they now give you that? Or that's if you commit another crime, not a failure of a UA.
No. They could take away my good time though.
Okay.
So which I accrued good. I had never got in trouble. So they could have been like, oh well, I'm going to give you another 7 days. But I beat the paperwork out the door, so to speak. So like they were getting ready to process and be like, hey, you got in trouble for failing your UA. but I beat it out the door. So I walk out of Anchorage jail, and I get a plane ticket, and then I get back to Fairbanks, and
No gate money?
no gate money this time. No, nothing. And I didn't have anywhere to go. I mean, at that point, I had really had no contact with anybody.
What, mom and dad? No? Done?
No, they didn't trust me. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
With all this shit. So I walked to from the airport. There's a friend of mine, Luke, that lived pretty close there, and I mean, I just walked up and he was like, "Well, you just got out of jail, didn't you?" I was like, "Yeah," and I don't have anything. I have the clothes on my back, and that's it. And I was like, "Can I like try to reestablish something here? Like, can I stay with you?" He's like, "Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem." And still, after still going through all this shit, I still wasn't ready. I still didn't come to the realization that drugs are fucking up my life, and that I had a problem. So I'm on 4 years of probation now from my second felony, state probation, and
Now in the story or now?
in the story.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been off state and federal probation for a few years now. And I'm staying with him, and I get a car from somebody, and then I met somebody in jail that got out at the same time, around the same time I did, and I saw him, and he looked like shit, and obviously he was on drugs, and I asked him where he can get it, obviously, and it's totally absolutely insane to think that like I can continue to do what I was doing and make something of myself. Like I'm fucking just hurting myself. So like I called my mom, and she met me in town. It was after I got out of state prison, and she was crying. She was happy to see me and everything. She's like, I wish I could take you home, but we can't.
Right.
We can't right now. You need to figure it out. And it took after. So the way that Alaska's probation is, you get your first PTR, petition to revoke probation. You get 3 days. Your second is 5 days. Your third is 10 days. After you get your fourth, you can get up to the rest of your time. So after my first 2 weeks of being out, I already had my first PTR for failed UA. And then second one, I was like out of area or something. I wasn't where I was supposed to be.
All right.
The third one, I was, where was I? I was walking down, I think it might have been University or Airport Road, and it was still like probably 20, 30 below. And I had found a truck that I had keys. I had a lot of keys that I acquired through.
You found a truck.
I found I was keeping an eye on a truck in this parking lot that I may or may not have been able to steal, and that my idea is that I'm going to take this and I'm going to take it to my dealer and
The pawn shop.
yeah,
Pawn the truck.
on the truck.
Yeah.
And UAF, it's a University of Fairbanks police. They stopped, put their light on me, and they're like, "Are you Lalonde?" And I was like,
What are you, infamous?
"No." Like my PO, dude, she, bless her heart, she really wanted she was really trying to help me, and I just didn't want the fucking help. I a fucking maniac in my own head, and I didn't want anybody's help. I was committed to just fucking getting high, fuck everybody else. My life's not worth living, like we were joking about earlier, but that's how I felt. So this is my third probation violation. So I'm about to, if I get one more, I'm gonna get the rest of my time. I'm not trying to do another fucking year. I'm done with this shit. And
Are you?
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't sound like you are. I mean, it sounds like you want to go back.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, I hear you.
And so they pick me up, and I'm on doing my 10 days. And then on my 9th day, I call.
Are you still staying with your buddy?
Yeah.
Like you keep going to jail, coming back, sleeping on the couch?
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'd be like, bro, done. Here's your shit.
I know.
It's in bags.
Yeah. But unfortunately, I mean, he's been through a lot of the same shit that I was, and like he helped, but I mean, also in the same sense, he was also enabling me, of course.
Right.
And on my 9th day, I had this old fucking native dude. He had revolver tattoos on each arm, and then he had like his feather tattoos like up here, and he had really long gray black hair, like really like hardcore, what you would if you think of a native, that's what he looked like. Super skinny. And I was talking to him, and he said that he knew my dad. And he's like, your dad, you know, he saved my life. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, he saved my life by showing me that there's more to life than, you know, just drinking or drugging your life away. And he's like, what would it take? What's it going to take for you? Or what are you willing to do to get clean? And I was like, at this point, anything. I will do anything. And he's like, okay, well, remember that. Remember, you're willing to do anything to get clean. And so I can call my counselor to go upstairs so I can use their phone, because it's my ninth day I'm about to get out. And they need to know where are you staying?
Yeah, where are you going?
Yeah, what's your address when you get out? What are you gonna do? And I told her, I was like, I don't have anywhere. She's like, well, you gotta have something. So I call my dad, and I was like, Dad, I'm at the point in my life where if I get out of here, I'm going to overdose. I'm gonna die. I'm either gonna die by overdose, or I'm gonna do something else stupid, and I'm gonna end up just doing the rest of I'm gonna do more time, and I'm gonna continue down this path that I feel like do not want to do anymore. I want to change, and I need your help. And he goes, I was expecting that call. I was expecting for you to call, and I was talking to Mom about it. And he's like, what time are you getting out tomorrow? I was like, 8 p.m. He's like, all right, well, I'll be there. I was like, whew, okay. I appreciate it. I'm like, thank you. So I get out, and he's sitting there waiting, and he's stoic. That was the word that I was trying to find a long time ago. Very stoic, and he's hard to read, because he's mellow. Like he's easy to talk to. But that whole ride there, it was very quiet. And he's like, and it was towards like when we were getting home. He's like, there's going to be a lot of rules, and there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to have to do to show and prove us that you're willing to do anything to get and stay clean. So that's what I did. I got plugged into a support network and like-minded people that have the same problems.
The AA or
I just a 12-step kind of deal. And I got to realize and see that like I had an old friend from like high school at the time. He had like 5 years clean, and then some other dude that I used to get high with, he had like 3 years clean, and then another old buddy of mine had 7 or 8 years, and they're like on they have houses and they have like wives now. Like I feel like I'm so behind on life after doing all this shit. Like they're so far ahead of me, and I'm comparing. What I'm doing is I'm comparing their outsides to my insides. What I'm doing, like I'm just seeing all this stuff that they've acquired and getting down on myself. But I got plugged in, and I went to these support meetings and stuff for every single day for they recommend doing like a 90 and 90, but I think I did probably 140 or something every single day, and then I just kept going, and eventually like built trust obviously back into my parents, and I after going to those and like really kind of digging deep into myself and realizing my fucked up thinking and thinking that I'm so unique and so different than everybody else, I really wasn't, and that I have a fucking problem that I'm going to deal with for the rest of my life. I just need to learn to keep it at bay. So that's over 3.5 years ago now. So I've been without any substance for over 3 years, coming up on 4 years on December 2nd. Yeah.
You moved to Florida.
We moved to Florida a year and a half ago. Never moved anywhere else. Never been anywhere else. We were both born and raised in North Pole, Fairbanks, Alaska. And at first, like mostly her, wanted to go to Florida. And she was looking at Tallahassee, and I was like, we talked to a few people, and they're like, it's just a big college town. You don't want to go there. And then, but we knew that going further south, it's going to be more expensive. And at the time, I mean, we didn't have a lot of money, but we had enough to get the fuck out. And I was like, well, why don't we try, Jacksonville? And then we got there and realized that it's, not what it's all. I mean, it's kind of the hood. It's kind of hood up there.
Yeah.
So now we're planning our next escape.
Yeah.
But I was been on probation since I was pretty much 18 years old. I wasn't allowed to leave the fucking state. And
right.
Now I'm 33, and I want to, figure out, like, I want to travel. I want to see what there is out there. I want to experience life, because I'm a little late now because I fucked up between all my 20s and everything. And that's where we're at now. That's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to figure out like where I fit, where I sink in. And I ended up getting my first year sober. It's called a forensic peer specialist. It's helping people that are incarcerated find other opportunities, get their insurance, like food stamps, and try to help them out because they've never done that shit before. Mm-hmm. And then I got my CDC-1, chemical dependency counselor, level 1. And that was my main, that's what I wanted to do when we came here. And I had like 7 or 8 interviews with rehabs, and as soon, like right after, they're like, I want you. We want you, yes. And they were like, how's your record? And I told them what's on there and how long ago, and they're like, oh, that shouldn't be an issue. I mean, I'm not a violent, but I don't have any violent crimes, none of that shit. And
it's one of the few careers where it's an attribute.
Yeah. Like, I mean, they want people with lived experience. Like, trust me, I've lived it. Like, I know what it feels like. And then they'd be like, well, you have to be off probation for longer than this, or blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he can't work in any of those fields until this upcoming summer.
Yeah. So, I mean.
So, what are you doing now?
Right now, I work at a performance shop, engine shop. I'm kind of, what my boss calls me is the conductor. I'm just the service writer, the conductor, the manager. I make sure that everything we have a machine shop side, then we have a mechanic side. And then, so we have an engine builder, and then people that do all the machinists on the head. And then one of the machinists actually just a few days ago, he's like, hey, we want to show you how to build this. And I was like, yeah, sure. So we do a lot of performance stuff, and then we do the mechanic, just basic fucking your brakes, your oil change, whatever the fuck. But that's just what I'm doing now. Like that's just what's keeping me afloat. It's I mean, it's not what my heart desires.
Right.
I don't think. I mean, I enjoy it, but it's not. That's not my calling.
Right.
Like I have a calling for something, and I still have yet to figure it out. There it is. Yeah, stay at home dad. But you won't let me have kids with you yet.
So.
Too young. It's not my fault you dated a 22-year-old.
Well, stop taking your birth control.
So right now, basically, we're wrapping up anyway. You're living in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
You're waiting out the time for you to reapply and be I'm going to say drug treatment specialist. What do you call it?
A chemical dependency counselor.
Yeah, it does sound better than lunch lady, right? It sounds like what is it like? What do they call them? Nutritional specialist, isn't it? Right. It's not. All right, so that's a good one. That's good. What is it called?
Chemical dependency counselor.
Wow, that sounds important,
doesn't it?
It's just like stop. Come on, just playing. Jesus, bro, it's difficult.
It is.
These fucking chicks, you know.
Yeah,
they're a pain, really.
Yes,
you know. So yeah, yeah. So okay. So cool. So you're doing okay, right? You're doing good.
Yeah. I've been doing the clean thing, and I mean, I don't have the want to dive into that world anymore. It's just, I mean, I don't want to say I've grown out of it or something. Or it's something that you got to take day by day. I mean, I just want to be better than I was, the person that I was yesterday. Like I'm slowly but surely, I'm trying to get my life back on track. I'm pretty sure that I've done, I mean, I'm worlds apart from where I was. When I tell people the shit that I've been through, that I used to shoot up meth and heroin into my jugular and fucking all this stuff, they're like, I could never see you doing that.
Right.
Like, there's no way. Like, you didn't do. I was like, yeah. I mean, I got track marks to prove. Well, not anymore, but it's a Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing. Like, it's nobody. When I was doing drugs and stuff, and like, I mean, I was a horrible person, horrible, and I have no want to ever be that way again. It's terrible, really. I
gotcha.
I got to take it day by day, and I don't want to be like that. I'm trying to create something with somebody that I love, and
she's back in Jacksonville. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, like 33. I mean, you figure I feel like I should be getting my shit together and getting life started, and that's kind of my goal. Is I don't want to be in Jacksonville anymore. That's for sure. I want to get back over to maybe like the Northwest somewhere, where they can have 4 seasons and you don't walk outside and instantly start sweating. Yeah, somewhere up there. Not back to Alaska though. I can't do that shit.
I lived in Tennessee for about a year and a half. It's nice.
Is it?
Yeah.
You get snow in Tennessee?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Not much.
No.
They don't get much. You get, and maybe only for a month or so, or two. But but it's nice.
Yeah, I had a snowplowing company while I was in Alaska, and I mean, shit, I raked in a lot of money doing that. A lot. Like, all you got to do is have a plow and a truck. That's it. And do commercial and residential driveways.
I don't think there's enough snow.
No. That's why I want to go for like further northwest, like Montana or Utah, Colorado. Colorado's kind of expensive, but
listen, there's drug addicts everywhere.
Yeah, there is. That's why I got to stay away from them. Or
I thought you're supposed to be a counselor.
yeah, that's what I say. Or help them.
Yeah.
If I ever find a place that's willing to, I mean,
I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think it's getting off probation.
I've been on probation.
Oh, I mean, sorry, the length of time.
Yeah.
What is it, 4 years?
It was 6 or 7 years, yeah. And I'm coming up on 7. Yeah. So
Jeez.
I just need to keep plugging along, and I just keep the drive. And 'cause everybody that I talked to, that I did the interview with too, that said, then when they said that they wanted me, they're like, just because you have one more year to wait, don't let that fucking fade. Like, you have it in you. Like, you have the want to help people, and we can see it, and we want that kind of person. We want the person with lived experience that's been through it, because nobody wants to talk to somebody that's not an addict or hasn't had a drug problem and book read and diagnose them with something, or it's just, you can't relate to somebody that way.
All right, I appreciate you guys watching. Do me a favor, if you like the videos, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notified of videos just like this, and leave me a comment. I respond to, honestly, the last probably month or so, I've really not responded to maybe half the comments, but I do make an effort. Yeah, so that's it. I appreciate you guys watching, and thank you very much, and I will see you.